The Gambia has been a popular destination for people who want to make Hijrah for over the last 2 decades. But recently, news has come out that
in the past year and a half, there have been many ladies who have lost their lives.
Miss Beverly, Audrey, Veronica, Mary, then we had Aja Africa.
She wasn't responsive. She passed away
No formal autopsy has been done.
when her employee hit her on the head with a hammer.
So our question is the Gambia still safe for people who want to make Hijrah? I decided to contact our elder, Sheikh Abu Muaadh, who has been in the Gambia for over 2 decades, and ask him this question. Have you heard these reports?
I'm hearing some things now. Being on the ground, I'm aware of some of these incidences. There's been one particular case that was a brother that we know that we buried. But there was an investigation and there was found no foul play, and the body was released to us and we buried him. But outside of that case, the other cases I'm not familiar with. Okay.
Right.
But my first question to anybody that says, anybody outside of the Gambia in particular, that says that the Gambia is not safe, my first question is compared to what? Because even with these incidences that you're hearing about the Gambia being unsafe, you have to compare it to something. You're saying that
Right.
in reference to where? For example, even in Africa, if you compare the Gambia to the other African countries, even with these new recent incidences that have happened, because this is something that is definitely new. And what we're hearing now, I haven't heard before in the Gambia until just recently. And also, it's not widespread. It's something that it has happened in particular areas and only to a particular segment of the population.
I mean, why do you think that is? Because the news is primarily coming from African Americans that are coming from states in the U.S.
Let me give you an analogy or an example from the West. If you go from New York to Los Angeles and you get off the plane and you move like you do in Harlem or Brooklyn or Queens, from the minute you get off the plane, you're going to stand out. You cannot expect to do that and not to have a different result because you're in a different place. So sometimes we don't make that mental adjustment, sometimes. And I'm not putting all the blame on one side or the other. I'm just saying that we have to reevaluate our situation and ourselves when problems arise so that we can deal with the situation. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not just, it's not sufficient sometimes just, oh, we heard on the news that there's a problem in the Gambia, it's unsafe because of these incidences. When you look at the bigger picture and you see that in the Gambia, that there are a lot of other people from all over the world and they're not having these situations. So we have to look internally now and see, well, why is it that I'm having this experience and other people are also coming, but they're not having this experience? So maybe it's not the people or the place, maybe it's me.
Could it be some animosity? Could it be like you're coming and taking our land, or you're taking advantage of us, or something like that? Or it's not like that in the culture?
Gambia is a tourist destination. If you look worldwide in most tourist destinations, they are generally considered safe. Even the ones that have issues, those issues would be in other parts of the country, not in the parts where they have the tourism. Look at Jamaica, for example. Jamaica is one of the, they have one of the highest murder rates in the world, but it's still a safe destination because where the tourists go is different from where most of the murders take place.
Right.
Okay. So we have to look at it with this lens in the Gambia. So to say it's unsafe is unfair because, again, you have all these tourists coming here and they have not had these problems.
Since it is a tourist destination, are there areas where you can find expats, Americans or British or whatever, Are they concentrated in areas, or you would just have to come and then just go around yourself?
You will find Westerners in the city and the villages all over. There's no, like in Egypt, maybe you'll have some areas where most of the Westerners go. In the Gambia, not so much. You find them all over. You go into some villages and you'll see, you know, people from other parts of the world in the middle of the village with, you know, the locals. It's very, you know, very common.
So as far as language, if you're an English speaker, will you have any trouble getting around there?
No problems. No
you plan to
problems.
visit?
No problems. In fact, English is the official language of the Gambia, even though there are about at least 6 to 8 local languages that are commonly spoken, but English is the official language.
I guess it's safe to say that if a person's interested or had plans to move to the Gambia, that it's okay. Just go ahead and go there first, stay there a few weeks to get a lay of the land, and then you should make your decision based on what you see and not what you're hearing on the internet from these different people.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Make an informed decision. Don't just take advice from somebody that may have never visited and may not be on the ground. Come and experience it for yourself and then make an informed decision.
The biggest takeaway that I got from this call is that you have to do your own research. And the best thing you can do is get on the ground and check things out for yourself. Get your copy of the Hijra Handbook at book.makehijra.com.